You're listening to The Tom Daniels Show, and I'm your host, Tom Daniel. Can you think of a song that never seems to end? No, I don't mean 99 bottles of beer on the wall. I don't mean that one. But that song actually does end eventually, but you probably won't live long enough to ever get there. No, I'm talking about a song that's not particularly long or complicated, but it just keeps going. There's no ending. No wrap-up, no conclusion, there's no last verse. How about you get a line and I'll get a pole? Yeah, I'm thinking about the Crawdad Hole. You know it. It always starts out like this. You get a line and I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line and I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line and I'll get a pole. We'll go fishing in the Crawdad Hole, honey, baby mine. Now, everybody agrees that's how you start that song, but, after that, it's wide open. I mean, you can sing about the man with a sack on his back, or you can sing about the pond going dry, or even both. And then another verse, and then another one. And then somebody in the group, usually a kid, or sometimes an adult who ought to know better, adds a verse that makes absolutely no sense. And somehow, the song just absorbs it and keeps moving. And if you've ever taught elementary school, you already know where this is going. Today's episode is about one of the simplest songs in the Southern tradition, and one of the most quietly sophisticated, the Crawdad Hole. It's the song everybody knows. I mean, even if you think you don't, you do. You get a line and I'll get a pole, and we'll go down to the Crawdad Hole, honey, baby mine. I mean, that's it. That is the song. There's no dramatic arc here. There's no plot or character development. There's no lesson, no moral. There's no bridge. There's no final verse where everything resolves. It just continues. And if you've ever been in a classroom or around a campfire or in a group of kids who've realized they could keep this thing going as long as the adult allows it, then you've experienced something very important. This is not a finished song. It does not have a final verse. If anyone ever tries to tell you what the final verse is of the Crawdad Hole, well, you can just say, and make up a new one right there on the spot. This is not a song. It's a system. Now, we tend to think of songs as fixed objects. I mean, they've got lyrics, they've got a melody, they've got a beginning, an end. But the Crawdad Hole doesn't behave that way. It is a system. You don't perform it. You kind of step into it because the structure is modular. A simple melodic phrase, a repeating harmonic pattern, a slot where a new verse can be inserted at any time, and that's why the song never breaks. I mean, you could add a verse. Hey, you can forget a verse. You can invent one right on the spot, and the song just keeps on going. Not because it's simple, but because it's designed to survive change. Nobody in the history of humanity ever said, I just messed up the Crawdad Hole. Because you can't. And that's why children love this song. Now, when I was teaching elementary general music, I accompanied this song on guitar more times than I can count. And every single time, the same thing happened. We never sang just one verse. We sang 5. Or 7, or 10. And somewhere around verse 6, the song stopped being mine and started being theirs. They would jump in early. They would anticipate. They would suggest new verses, some of them logical, some of them completely absurd. And here's the key. They were never wrong, because the structure of the song doesn't punish mistakes. It rewards participation. The Crawdad Hole really is the ultimate musical participation trophy. And that's why kids love it. Not because it's childish, but because it behaves like a game. And anything that behaves like a game is always going to belong to kids. It's also not really about crawdads. Let's talk about that. Because on the surface, this is a song about fishing. I mean, crawdads, lines, poles, going down to the creek. But that's not really what this song is about. The crawdad is incidental. What the song is actually doing is coordinating activity. You get a line, I'll get a pole. That's not storytelling. That's instruction. That's collaboration. This is a song built for people doing something together. Walking, working, gathering, passing time. And that's why the rhythm feels so natural. I mean, it fits movement. It fits repetition. It fits being in the same place doing the same thing at the same time. You're listening to The Tom Daniels Show. We'll be right back.
What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show. What are you waiting for? The Tom Daniels Show.
And welcome back to the Tom Daniels Show. And you just knew Mary Mac was going to get a line and a pole. Mary Mac is the world's most perfect band. Now, we've been talking about the song The Crawdad Hole, and I want to touch briefly on the invisible call and response that's in there. Now, even when sung straight through, the Crawdad Hole carries the DNA of call and response. I mean, one voice leads, the group responds. Now, it doesn't always announce itself that way, but it's in there. But it's not a strict call and response song. I mean, not in the way a spiritual or a work song might be. Most of the time, everybody just sings it straight through together. But the structure allows for a kind of informal leading and joining. Someone can start a verse, and then the group naturally locks in on the refrain. It doesn't demand participation, but it makes participation easy. Call and response is one of the most effective ways to teach a song, to sustain a group, to invite participation without having to explain it. I mean, nobody has to explain the Crawdad Hole to you. Nobody has to tell you how to join in. The structure teaches you by itself. That's why a room full of kids can pick this up almost instantly. And that's why the song can scale from one person with a guitar to an entire classroom without changing its identity. You can find recordings of the Crawdad Hole. I mean, Doc Watson sang it. Pete Singer sang it. Woody Guthrie, Burl Ives, Andy Griffith. And they all sound like the version right up until you realize there isn't one. The Crawdad Hole sits in that really interesting space where it's widely known without having a single definitive version. Now, at this point, we might be tempted to do what we always do with songs. We might say, all right, what are the real lyrics? Let's find the correct version. Let's write it down. Let's preserve it. Let's save it. But, here's the problem. The moment that you try to fix the Crawdad Hole into a single correct version, then you've already misunderstood what it is. Because this song does not exist as a finished object. It exists as a process. If you write down 10 verses and say, this is the song, what happens? Well, now suddenly the 11th verse doesn't belong. The 11th verse is now wrong, and the kid who made up the 11th verse is wrong. Now, the version that I sang in the classroom, the one that went on for 10 verses, is no longer valid. In other words, the act of writing it down doesn't preserve the song. It shrinks it and it ruins it. And this is not just about one little children's song. This is a much bigger question. What happens when we take something that lives in our memory and try to lock it down onto a page? Because, once it's written, then it feels fixed. It becomes either correct or incorrect. It becomes something that you either perform accurately or don't. But before that, the song belonged to everybody. I mean, the song adapted, it grew, it absorbed everybody singing it. And that's exactly what I saw in my classroom. When those kids added verses, when they jumped in early, when they bent the song just a little bit to make it their own, they were not ruining the song. They were continuing the tradition. So what do we do with this? I mean, what does a simple, repetitive, endlessly extendable song actually teach us? It teaches us that the most durable music is not always the most complex. It's the most adaptable. The most durable songs are the ones that allow participation. They tolerate variation. They survive imperfect memory, and they invite people in, rather than asking them to measure up and get it right. The Crawdad Hole is not impressive on paper, because it doesn't need to be. It was never designed for paper. It was designed for people. So the next time you hear it, or the next time you find yourself singing it, maybe with a group that has no intention of stopping, listen a little more closely. What you're hearing is not just a children's song. You're hearing a system that has worked for generations, a piece of music that no one ever finished, and therefore nobody ever lost it. It's not just a children's song. It's not just a folk song. It's a reminder that some music was never meant to be finished, because the moment you finish it, well, then you take it away from all the people who keep it alive. And maybe that's why songs like this keep staying with us, not because they were written down perfectly, but because they were never written down perfectly. Thank you, everybody. This has been the Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening. Keep learning.
Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Take a break from your usual routine and tune in to the Tom Daniels Show. You'll discover the world of melodies and stories that you might not know. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show. Keep listening, keep learning. The Tom Daniels Show.